Brad Shockley. I'm with Newcastle County's Department of Land Use, and I'm with Eileen Fogarty, our General Manager.
Good morning.
We're on the site of Waggoners Row. It's a proposed rezoning subdivision plan, and we came out to the site today to summarize some of the issues that were raised at the recent planning board hearing. To go over the overall site plan, the property is a 20-acre parcel. The actual 12 proposed lots will be to the north side of the site, while the remaining 8 acres will retain SE zoning. The proposed forest area at the corner of Buck Road will be maintained, and the 2 existing home sites will be maintained on large lots. And again, the development, the actual 12 lots that are proposed are on the south side of the site, which we're looking at now. The property is zoned S currently, is zoned SE currently, and is proposed to be rezoned to S. It's surrounded by properties to the north that are NC2A, and there's properties across Waggoners Row that are zoned NC15. And again, we came out today because we wanted to summarize some of the issues that were raised at the planning board hearing, and I'm going to let Eileen do that now.
Thanks very much. We're delighted that you're looking at our county's channel, and we're glad to start sharing information about land use issues that are important to the community with you. This issue has had tremendous amount of attention from the community because it's such a spectacular area. It's really the entrance as we start up onto the scenic byway. The area is wooded, it's got rolling hills, and really the concern we've heard from everyone is, first of all, how do we retain this character for the future? How do we retain the wooded, natural, open feeling that you have as you come up the byway? Other issues that people have talked about is, how do we make sure that whatever decisions we make on this rezoning will be decisions that we can be comfortable with and set a clear direction for the future. And of course, as with all rezonings, we look at the surrounding community to make sure that that community is protected, and we address the issues we've heard from the residents. So first, let me reiterate what Brad has just said, that the context is, on this side of Route 100, you have large 2-acre lots. As you cross Route 100, you have lots that are more 15,000 square feet. So you have a combination. As we look at this particular site, the other issue that is very significant in the rezoning is this site, while it's zoned suburban estate, which means you don't have sewer, has sewer. The areas across the road have sewer, and the lots to the south have sewer. As we go north, the only area that has existing sewer is Carpenter's Row. So from this site north of Buck Road, there is no sewer.
Hi, we just moved on the other side of the mature row of pine trees along Route 100. This area will be preserved as a 125-foot scenic corridor along the scenic byway of Route 100. And Eileen, would you like to touch on that?
Yes, I would. The process for this application has been very interesting. Initially, the applicants came in with a 50-foot buffer, which from that highway would bring us to right about where I'm standing. We as a department took a position that we could not support that because it would not protect the integrity of the corridor. We recommended a 125-foot buffer from the property line, and that includes this entire area, and it goes way beyond to the other side of the mature trees. We also recommended that all of the trees be preserved and also augmented with additional growth. The other request that we made was that there be significant buffer adjacent to the area where there is a residence to the south. So that area went from a very small buffer to a 75 to 100-foot buffer on this side, on Waggoners Row side of the property. So with that said, the applicant brought in a new application. We sent them through a new public hearing, so they had 2 public hearings. so that the community would have a chance to see all of the changes. And with that application, we now have a 125-foot buffer, including the trees, the preservation of the trees, all the way to the other side, where you will not see not only houses, but you will not see rear yards. There also was agreement on the applicant's part to lower the roof line from 40 to 35 feet and to provide more than 50% of the site in open space. As we look to the north, there's a mature forest in that area that will have a conservation easement on it. That area will not be rezoned.
Would you like to touch on the comparison between a by right plan retaining the SE zoning and the proposed rezoning plan to S?
Yes, a great deal of our analysis first was on the pure rezoning issues of sewer versus non-sewer, what the lot sizes surrounding are, but then secondly, what would provide the best physical precedent for this corridor. And in looking at a by right plan, there would be quite a few less houses. On a by right plan, you'd have the two existing houses, which are behind me, and you'd have 5 new houses. And you would also have 2-acre lot sizes. On the proposed plan, you'd have the existing houses and 12 new houses. They would be clustered on the southern area of the site. But where it becomes more complex is the by right plan. You can build these houses 50 feet from the property line, 50 feet from the road. You don't need to protect the trees that you see here, and you don't need to have open space. On the proposal, with the conditions that we've requested or required, you would have more than 50% of the site in open space. You would have a 125-foot wooded buffer, which leaves the sites practically invisible. You would have a lower height, and again, there would be a much greater buffer to the south. So, in conclusion, as we looked at the by right plan as compared to the rezoning with all of the conditions, we believed, as did the planning board, that you have much greater protection for the residents, for the community, and for a precedent for the scenic buffer, which will mean that in the future, anything built, our recommendation is that anything built on this Route 100 scenic area from here on north will have that same 125-foot wooded, non-disturbed buffer. So then, moving to the issue of the actual zoning, we wanted to make a recommendation that is one that would set a clear direction for the future along Route 100. So we recommended that any lot that is not currently sewered, which would mean everything north of Buck Road, would not be supported for rezoning in the future. That because this is sewered and because the areas immediately around it are already sewered and built upon, that this was supportable to go from an ST to an S zoning. So we felt that, and the planning board concurred in their opinion, that the best way to protect this buffer is to ensure that nothing without sewer gets a rezoning, which is everything north of Buck Row, with the exception of the already built Carpenter's Row, all the way to the Pennsylvania line. And the second precedent, which we're very excited about, is the precedent that the area along Route 100 Scenic Byway Corridor is now an area which will have a 125-foot setback from the road to individual property lines and an additional 25 feet to actual building structures. We feel that this provides a great precedent for the corridor and protects and enhances the environment that is so special to this community. We thank you for listening and watching this morning, and we look forward to taking any of your calls. at the Department of Land Use or emails.